can play on or off the ball. We'll see who takes the challenge here to start the game and guarding him.
All right, ball tossed up again. You'll see all of the logos in the court decor that fits its home, the Santa Cruz Warriors. So Stanford played much of its season here 2 years ago, the COVID year.
When we talked about the shooting for Stanford and how it hasn't gone great to start the season for them. One thing they have done well is turn people over. In Loyola, with all these new faces we talked about, turn it over 17.5 times a game. So something to keep an eye on. Can Stanford turn Loyola Chicago over here a lot?
Brandon Angel's shot missed. And Thomas, 6-7 in the game. Again, Loyola's missing 3 reserves who would play for them. Non-COVID illness, we are told. They did not make the trip from Chicago.
Which hurts your depth because Stanford, a big team. Loyola Chicago, not a real big team, but without those guys, they become not as big, obviously.
All right, so there's Ingram jarring for Harrison Ingram. They are.
And we don't ask more. He was in shape. You could tell he'd been working. He's going to make a huge jump. And
he's a game.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly
you won
what
the game
I'm saying.
because of him. And that hasn't happened.
If you don't have the ability to do it, we don't ask for it. But unfortunately or unfortunately, Harrison Ingram does as McConnell gets to the rim. And, draft stock, part of it. And unfortunately, 11 games in, that's not the case. But there's still time. But he's got to understand that he has the ability to take over games. And when your team is struggling and not winning games, then you got to do it. Take over the game. Utah as well. What am I saying? Utah and Colorado are both opportunities next week.
Well, Utah's already had that kind of win that Stanford's going to need a couple of, beating Arizona. Schweiger with a dish, and Welch with the finish for Loyola. Good potential net benefit. Nice attempt there by Gieler, but broken up by Loyola Schweiger.
And we mentioned
Schweiger's going right in.
You mentioned both teams seems like more of a problem for Loyola this year than Stanford, but both defenses up and into it, so we'll continue to keep an eye on the turnover game.
That's Reno, and
he can do that.
Exactly. We've seen that step back just to beat the buzzer. Stanford now with Gieler, the point guard, defending against Norris. Good shooting guard for Loyola.
Another static three. Gieler gets it to go down.
How about that?
It's a tough shot, gather and go. So much easier when you're off a movement, get your feet down, get a pass and rhythm.
Nice inside feed there by Norris of Loyola to Welch.
He obviously went on to do something else other than play basketball.
Yes, he did. He did it quite well. Ingram inside with the follow. A couple of tips. And eventually Michael Jones does it nicely.
Nice job by Jones. Here's what I would do, and kind of what O'Connell just tried to do, is if both teams are going to play this hard in the half court defensively, let's try and get it down the court before they can get set.
Ingram knocks it down. So there's Ingram, a 20.
Blacked out like they do at Crypto.com for Laker games. They black out the stands, but the court lighting's fantastic.
There's Norris getting a look, and he was a few feet behind the arc, but it doesn't bother him.
Timeout play, and Norris gets himself good look at three and knocks it down.
On Midwest feel on the Loyola teams you'd expect. Norris is from Ohio. O'Connell missing at the rim. Loyola pushing. And setting up a three there for Edwards. But Ingram wins the fight. And goes in with the left hand.
I just thought, Ted, looking at him at Media Day, like I mentioned earlier, slimmed down, looks like he got stronger, been better conditioned.
Want to kickstart it from the Stanford side. It's next weekend. And opening up at home, and there's a baseline finish. Alston in the first 3 minutes back in. Leading scorer for Loyola. There's that double again, chasing like Ingram.
Loyola's doubling both wings, though. Nice five.
Inside. Jones. Michael. And you see Jared Haas right up there applauding the defensive in the half court, the defensive squeeze. Late clock drive and finish, though, for Loyola. Ben Schweiger. gets factored into this whole review problem. Nice inbounds play. O'Connell set play there, and Ingram. And another pass that was deflected in the lane. Schweiger sets up Norris. He had a good, clean look, but a second try now off the Alston offensive rebound. And this will get us to a...
Goes into him. Is it an offensive foul?
Well, the Chicago playing much of this first half now without their leading scorer and rebounder, and partisan. This is a nice segment for Stanford going into the Agarwal and Silva on the bench. And the lead at 9. And the lead now at 11.
A nice play by Silva. Stanford's been staying right with him this entire half.
And again, this shot clock's going to go into singles. Schweiger trying to feed it inside. Passing lane steal. Keefe. Agarwal underneath, and the finish running the floor by Michael Jones.
Get it down the court before that Loyola D wall. Head up, saw the cutter Jones for the easy layup.
Larson, the corner 3 is knocked down.
They needed that.
Yep, Saint.
You didn't think the defensive intensity could stay where it was at for 40 minutes?
Ooh, inside, look at that. Angel kept himself going and stepped through.
I haven't seen all of Stanford's games. I've seen quite a bit of them. This is the best half I've seen him play. First 17 minutes of this one. Especially on the offensive end.
Inside, and the pivot and the score by Keefe.
8 for 10.5. You go 3 for 5. Maybe next half you go 3 for 5. And you start building from there.
How about that Agarwal? Puts it up with Saint.
He can really shoot. And quick trigger, too. We saw him on Friday against Green Bay.
Shots. He's going to pass.
Let's let him
people.
go.
Yeah. On Norris, the shooter.
Yeah.
He's only had 3 shots, 3 threes. Pick here by Kennedy. And he takes it in.
Can't get sloppy with it. Angel just put it right in front of the defender, and he took it.
Michael Jones floater goes.
But again, it's not that he's done anything wrong. Obviously, it's that this group has gotten him this big lead, so you got to stick with him.
Thomas for Loyola. And the loose ball now Stanford can hold.
Yep, one shot.
All right, Jones comes out. Silva. Nope, sideline violation. So Loyola will have one quick
to use it.
Yeah.
I probably.
Yep. And Michael Jones does that, and that takes 2 seconds off. So 2-foot span here to harass the inbounds. Instead, it'll be Norris with the long one. And that ends the first half in Santa Cruz, and that for Stanford.
There wasn't many available for him in that first half. 1 of 5, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Good help from Angel that time.
Welch with a good screen and the give back. Nice play there. They ran that a few times in the first half.
Great execution, though.
You just kind of made stuff up because you couldn't see and you didn't have monitors all the time. All right, Stanford still out. Let's see if Keefe can fix that. First points of the half for Stanford.
Out there. Good pass.
That was well done. Ingram. That's a big smile there. And
but I think it's built up over this first, 23 minutes of this game.
Boy, and again, O'Connell closed out. Well, Norris improvised.
Well,
O'Connell make sure there's no 3.
Tee up 3. So if he wants to score, he's going to have to show and go, put it on the deck, and manufacture something like he did there.
All Ingram here. And Ingram finishes.
Just be aggressive, man. Just be aggressive, looking for your own. We know you can pass. We know you're unselfish, but make them stop you first before you start passing to other guys.
Shot fake, Burrow stepping in for that 15-footer.
Oh, by the way, here's the other thing.
As Maxime Reynaud would say. Nice pass.
See, and here's the other thing. Let's keep talking about here. As a team to get off to a good start.
There's a guy that hasn't been able to impact the game right here. And Alston gets in, doesn't bang that in off the glass, but will. And it was the Cyclone. That was the one. The legendary Cyclone.
Big, steep drop. He replaced it with some into the paint.
Yeah.
And so it's catch and go at that point. Not so much, you got a guy, let's post up.
In the 80s and 90s when, as Ingram drives and scores, when people would go, they ran this big man camp, and that's where players literally were, big guys went to learn post play, inside play.
Ratchet it back just a hair so you're not putting Loyola Chicago on the line for the rest of the game.
Oh, there's an early break. Ball's down low, deflected, steal, foul on Silva, so that's 8.
Anything that's contact is being called.
Or the 1-on-1 goes away for Loyola.
Well, if I'm Loyola Chicago, I'm driving it every time now. I'm not shooting any jumpers anymore.
And there's, well, that shot you talk about, the touch shot. Now Stanford going to just slow it down a bit.
Yeah, I think you're still playing. Yeah, you're up 19, but it's way too early to start playing the clock. But you're right. There's no need to rush anything. No risk reward right now.
The bonus for the rest of the game.
That's probably the other thing, honestly, Jared Haas was talking about at that timeout. Is look, guys, we got to stay with the level defensively, but we can't keep putting them on the line as we can do.
Here's Alston scoring, and O'Connell right back, unstopped to the rim.
Trying to get the switch here.
Just a tough shot. And Alston, who the Loyola staff, some people that knew Alston, and that's helped him when he went in, helped them get him when he went into the portal. And there's Welch with the putback.
And that's pretty impressive.
Michael Jones off the Spencer Jones give back.
It's time to shoot a
Jones
three.
to Jones.
Defensive rebound, defense is scrambling. Jones knocks it down.
And again, that score is incorrect.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That score is incorrect, so they'll get that fixed. And Michael Jones takes it in. And he'll get to the line. Bounding, which is another Stanford staple.
They've run into Stanford at their best so far this season, but maybe not.
Well, Loyola Chicago's going to, and they know it's coming because they are, I think there was 26 schools this year in D1 that changed conferences. I think it's 20. Played the most minutes of any Stanford player tonight.
Played well, too.
He has 12.7 boards and 3 steals. Welch with the rebound.
And now still up 17. Got to get back, number one, but number two, don't put them on the line.
And Alston hits a tough turnaround on the baseline.
Point where you can probably walk it up 15, but you can't let the shot clock run all the way down and then not get quality looks at the end of it. It's okay to play slow, but you got to get decent shots at the end.
And there's a nice job again. Jones felt the double and found Keefe.
That's a decent shot, Ted.
14.
Taking advantage. He's telling Jared Haas, I'm going to stay in the starting lineup, I think, Coach.
Well, it's been a night where Stanford has had 10 men play at least 8 minutes. So Jared Haas has used the roster, but Keefe's been out there the most. And there is one of those
Loyola keeps trying to speed.
rebound. Kennedy, tough shot, doesn't get it. Then chases down his own. And then hits a three. Well, Kennedy earned that one. And O'Connell inside for Reno and one.
Late game, late clock stuff is deception.
I'm laughing just because every so often we do see a 3-second call. Brandon, like once a month you get reminded that somebody
We had one
that
yesterday
rule.
at UCLA, and I think I said the same thing. Like, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah. Kennedy hits a three for Loyola.
Too little, too late.
Here we go, 3 minutes to go. Loyola has to go, and O'Connell, that's what Stanford's screaming for, that O'Connell stood there to take
A little quick for that shot. It was contested, too. The score here, Jared asked me, needed time.
Whoa, that's it. Kennedy hits a three. So this is the closest it's been in the second half. First time it's been down to 10. And that's exactly what will happen.
And if you score on the other end.
Double bonus both ways. Ingram goes left. And look at the smug. He was surrounded by three. That's the kind of trade Loyola wants to see if they can make.
I like them walk it up, make them use some clock here before they get into whatever they're going to run.
Norris using Welch, and Norris hits a three, and it's down to 8.
O'Connell got picked there, especially in the situation, late game that team's making a run. You have no help responsibility at this point.
How about Reno with that screen? Right.
I think they got that right.
Yeah.
A good non-call by the officials that time. 2 big free throws by McConnell.
See if they can get Norris free again, what Loyola would like to do. Nope, there's Spencer Jones on him.
Yeah, and don't leave him. No help responsibility. Just stay out there. Yep, you don't care. The other guys drive and score, so what? You're not leaving them.
How about this? Alston getting in, and strong rebound by Angel.
Now you're running clock. Let's see if Loyola Chicago comes to foul here.
Drew Valentine actually on the floor instructing, and there is no fouling going on.
Well, don't foul now if you're Loyola.
Exactly. And they wind up doing it. Alston. While this is going on just to our right.
You cannot. If you're going to go set a screen, you better make sure you are dead set. Foul quickly. Ingram should have given it to O'Connell there.
Immediately foul.
You know why, Ted? Because there's no expectations. You assume you're losing the game anyways.
And O'Connell spun 4 in here in the last moments.
Make him use some clock. Don't get physical with him, so you're stopping the clock and putting him on the line. He makes that one.
I know, and he almost did. They had back when you were playing.
No. I know he's in charge over there now.
I talked to you about this before. This is why the NBA doesn't have this problem. Guys make their foul shots down the stretch. And there's no reward for... Tough shot there by Norris, and he almost made it. Kennedy retreats to the line.
Don't even need to contest. Let him shoot it.
Yep, and there it is. Belongs to Stanford, and now Drew Valentine calls it off. So that'll do it. Well, Stanford is going to enter the Christmas holiday with an impressive win. We got a bunch of guys heading to the airport on both of these teams. Guys are scattering for the Christmas break.
We got to shoot it here. There's a differential.
Yeah, there is. We got 3 seconds, and Loyola hopeful that the guys going to Chicago can get there because they're in the middle of a horrific winter storm in Chicago. For some reason, a delay in inbounding the ball.
What's Michael Jones doing?
Man, come on.
Like,
all right, there we go. Well, for Stanford, in essence, their non-conference ends at least on an upbeat. 2 wins in their last 3 games and 2 good performances.
right, and the key is, does this translate to next week? That's my thing. It seems like it's been a confidence issue in shooting and making shots. The defense has been there all year, and for most of this game, really, really good offensively.